This is a breaking market alert. A single print just hit Bitcoin for nearly $184,000 at just over 72,800. That's a 51-time block, a seller, and it absorbed immediately. The largest sell on Bitcoin just now was $184,000, but the real story is what happened after. Buy side took it. The delta tells you $54,600 more came in on bids than offers across 6,000 trades. That's absorption, Victor. This wasn't dumping. You're reading it as accumulation, but the cumulative volume delta shows we spent most of this session underwater. Where exactly in that price action did the smart money step in? Because I'm seeing $57,000 of buy pressure against a backdrop that favors the seller. Victor, look at the range. We closed positive delta. That largest print at 72.86 came in 125 seconds ago. The median trade size is just $73. When an institutional block gets taken by retail flow underneath it, that's a green flag. Fair point on absorption, but Bitcoin's down 0.1% on the session. If this was a conviction move, we'd see follow through. The fact the price barely moved off that massive print suggests it was opportunistic, not strategic. That's exactly why it matters. Price didn't collapse. The market had conviction to hold. In a weak session, that print would have dragged us lower for hours. Silver stopped out for a full risk, down 1R. But the last 5 closes across Ethereum, Bitcoin, and gold all hit targets that's 2.3R on each of those. We're at 8.49R total across 13 graded trades, which puts expectancy at 0.653R per trade. 54% hit rate, but the math is clean. The issue I see, Peter, is those backtest on Bitcoin swing trades show 27% win rate and minus 0.8 expectancy. How are you confident in the 2 open swing positions right now when the historical data says that time frame does not work? Victor, swing and intraday are different animals. The backtest bias might be in the parameters themselves. What I'm seeing live is the trend structure. The averages are stacked. Price is above the 200-day. That is not noise. The open positions respect that setup. Fair point on live structure versus backtest. But you have 3 trades open and only 124 bars of Bitcoin intraday backtest data. If the sample is thin and the environment shifts, you're risking real money on pattern confidence that the machine never validated at scale. Then we watch them. If Bitcoin closes through 65,675 on the swing, or through 71,955 on the intraday, both ideas are wrong and will say so. That's the discipline. The data will correct us fast. That is our time on Money Makers. Over to Alex Johnson for Power Trades Live. Thank you, Peter Panderson, and welcome to Power Trades Live. I am Alex Johnson, Chief Correspondent, alongside Aaron Carter. Intraday trading for the next hour. This is a breaking market alert. A single Bitcoin print just moved $726,000 at $72,770, nearly 100 times the median trade size. The seller absorbed the full position 2 minutes ago. XRP's up nearly 23% in 24 hours. That's the outlier. Dogecoin's at 15%. Ethereum 12%. But XRP's volume tells you something. 927 million coins moved today. That's real money rotating, not retail noise. Everything else is single digits, except the Cardano stack pushing 12% higher. Aaron here, XRP's high was $1.34, but it pulled back from there. That suggests profit taking at resistance. The real question is whether this momentum holds through the close, or if we're watching a fade. The turnover's too thick to fade, Aaron. Billion-dollar days don't reverse on technicals alone. Bitcoin sitting at 72.7, up 6.5%. That's the anchor holding the whole session up. Bitcoin's trading range is tight, though, 68,000 low to 73,000 high. That's constraint, not conviction. The microcaps like Cardano and Dogecoin are doing the heavy lifting percentage-wise. Where's the institutional bid? In the volume, $1.1 billion turned in XRP alone. That's institutional. Watch that level through close. Major equity markets sold off this afternoon as bond yields climbed following Treasury intervention. The move signals markets are parsing divergent signals from fiscal stimulus and monetary policy. Gold rallied on the same Treasury announcement, finding strength as investors reposition. A significant crypto pullback emerged as tariff concerns weighed on sentiment, with one token shedding 90% during its token generation event. The crypto sector's volatility underscores how policy uncertainty is reshaping risk appetite across assets. This is a breaking market alert. A massive buy just absorbed nearly $400,000 of Bitcoin at 72,556. That's 95 times the median trade size. The print went through less than a minute ago. We tested this method on Bitcoin going back 790 bars. Intraday it won 21% of the time. Swing trades hit less than 3%. Both timeframes lost money in live testing. Those backtests are enormous sample sizes, but you're glossing over the live desk. 13 trades, 54% hit rate, 8.5 hour total. Why does live outperform what the rules say they should do? Aaron, the live sample is too small to trust. 6 wins out of 13 could be luck. The backtest with 137 trades on the same pair says the actual expectancy is nearly 0. Fair, but those backtests assume perfect execution. Your live trades average 2.3 R per winner. The backtest says 2.34. The gap is execution, not the method failing. That's the real answer. The rules work on crypto when you trade them right now, not when you trade them blind on history. 1 desk, 3 open positions, all Bitcoin and Ethereum. The method doesn't scale. The Nasdaq took the hardest hit this afternoon, down 1.3%. Broader sell-off across the board with the Dow off 1.2% and the S&P 500 down 0.85%. Tech got hammered harder than large cap value today, Aaron. True, but look at energy. West Texas crude up 2.5%, Brent up almost 2%. That's not a risk-off move. When equities fall and oil rises together, you're seeing a supply shock, not recession fears. What's your read on that disconnect? Fair point. The yen's also bid, up 0.5% against the dollar. That usually signals flight to safety. But you're right, crude wouldn't be climbing if we were truly in panic mode. Could be inflation concerns overriding the sell-off narrative. Silver's up 1.5%, gold barely moving. Inflation hedge is working selectively. The market's confused about what just happened. Your take on whether this holds or we bounce back into close. Energy holding strength suggests this isn't capitulation. If crude breaks lower in the final hour, then we know equities were leading. Until then, I'd call it a healthy pullback on yields, not a reversal. This is a breaking market alert. A $480,000 Bitcoin sale just hit the tape at $72,491, 99 times the typical print size. The market didn't absorb it. Bitcoin's long from 68,554. Stop at 65,675. First target 75,178. Second at 79.5. That's 4.2% risk for 9.7% reward. The trend is up, averages stacked, price holding above the 21-day and the 200-day at 64,292. Closes through the stop, the idea is dead. Aaron wants to know why you're comfortable with that much heat on a swing when your backtest on Bitcoin swing trades shows one win in 42 attempts. That's 2.7% hit rate with a negative expectancy. Fair point. But the live record on swings is different. 7 wins in 13 graded trades. The backtests were tighter rules. Current setup has confluences those historical runs didn't capture. The intraday Bitcoin at 72,874 looks cleaner to me. 1.3% risk, better probability shape, and RSI at 66 still has room. Why not lead with that first? Because the swing sets up the bigger picture. You take the intraday on any pullback after it proves itself. Ethereum's also long from 2346 on the same structure if Bitcoin holds. That's the layering that works. This is a breaking market alert. A nearly $800,000 Bitcoin buy just printed at 72,560, 99 times the median size. The trade went through unabsorbed 2 minutes ago. Bitcoin holding above 72,000. 21-day average sits at 72,320. 200 is down at 68,520. RSI running firm at 59. Range bound between resistance at 72,838 and support at 71,127. The trend strength index at 36. That's a strong trend. Structures higher highs and higher lows. Aaron here the MACD just crossed down. Histogram turned negative. That matters more than the RSI reading. Volumes not confirming the move either. Where does this break if it rolls over? First support 71,127, then 69,516. But average true ranges only 50 basis points of the price. The bands are tight, Aaron. This isn't a breakout setup, it's consolidation. Ethereum's different. 21 at 2318, 200 at 2140. That's a wider separation. You're seeing strength there that Bitcoin isn't delivering. Ethereum RSI also firm 59, but the range is tighter. Ethereum resistance 2336. Bitcoin's resistance is wider. Bitcoin's the better short here if it breaks down. Dogecoin up 12.5%, Avalanche climbing nearly 11. That's where the real momentum is today. XRP's pushing 19% higher on massive volume. 3 names running the board, and Bitcoin's trailing them all at 6%. Alex, XRP's turnover alone is over $1 billion in 24 hours. That's retail-driven euphoria or institutional positioning. Could be both, Aaron. But Dogecoin's volume is 4 billion. That's not retail noise. True, but Dogecoin moves on sentiment, not fundamentals. XRP's legal clarity matters differently. Which one holds tomorrow? Dogecoin breaks first if momentum fades. XRP's got structural support now. This is a breaking market alert. A nearly $500,000 Bitcoin buy just absorbed at 72,675. That's a 99 times multiple of the average trade. Hit the tape less than 4 seconds ago. Solana's sitting at 87.73. Tape is running 89% sell side, and it breaks down to 85.36 before it's no good anymore. 71% of accounts are still long. That's the flush waiting to happen. But your invalidation level at 89.23 has 16 minutes left on it. Why does order flow that's skewed actually hold when 3/4 of retail positioning hasn't moved? Aaron, because order flow tells you what's actually happening. Retail doesn't drive price, it reveals the direction. When the tape is that one-sided,